Hey guys, it's Andrew at FloryPB, and it's been a while. Apologize for that, but I was getting a little burned out, I think, making so many boards and just doing the work, you know, up at night all night and going to work every morning, and I got a little burned out, so I took a couple months, not exactly off, but a couple months to do some projects around the house and some stuff like that. I'll probably show you guys some of that stuff sooner or later. But it's August. I am back in it. I just had a bunch of boards ordered to get made. I have some stuff that I'm releasing that has been sort of on the docket to be released. But next weekend is Supergame over in OXCC in Maryland, which isn't that far from us over here. So me and a couple of my buddies are planning on going down there, at least for Saturday. And well, I mean, I want to play, and I grabbed this Nova N4 because I like this brand. I do like Nova paintball. I have a weird collection of a lot of their older markers. Like I'm not actually pulling any of them out right now. Apologize, but I do have two Assault 80s in a box. One is the fixed barrel, one is the reciprocating barrel. I have a Supernova or a Nova, whatever it is. I have a PGI Mayhem, PGI Frog somewhere in a box. So like I've always appreciated what they've done and like their weirdness, I guess, in a way. And when they came out with the N4, which is closed bolt, and it's not expensive, it's a closed bolt gun. I love closed bolt markers as well, just because you get that quicker dwell time for when you actually fire paintball out of the barrel. So I do like closed bolt markers, and I figured it works with the Apex. Looks really legit with the Apex. I'm not using this. I probably should put some kind of little condom on that, but whatever. I'll figure that as I go. I don't dig that look, but it works with the Apex. And I love using the Apex to upset people, especially at like a super game where they use the first strike rounds, and you just start popping Apex rounds just at people that are sitting out in the open. It's kind of fun. But I bought this marker. I know they advertised for like $200, $250 or whatever, but I don't think that's accurate. This is probably like a $300 marker in my opinion, or like a $300, $320 to get it in a decent shape, and that's without the barrel kit. I didn't get the barrel kit. I don't know if there's anything good or bad about the barrel kit. It's just I was never going to use it. I was going to use the barrels that I use regardless. I'm not going to... It was just going to sit there, collect dust. But the two things I don't like. The plastic feed neck is janky as shit. Like, this thing, if you have a small hopper, like a 60 rounder, or you have just a regular just shake and bake kind of hopper that you're just shaking around and there's no batteries in it, yeah, it's fine. But if you have any kind of hopper, like a rotor or something on it, this thing is just horrifically weak. So you can just bend it, like. And when I put a hopper on it, it like. So, like, that's not meant for electric hoppers, which is fine. They sell the upgrade. I almost wish that they don't even come as this as an option, and you just give me the metal one to start. The other thing that I didn't dig, it leaks out of the box. Not bad, but there's a little leak. We're going to go through that and try to figure that out. I do like the grips. I like how the frame feels. I like the on-off, how the on-off is. It does do what it's supposed to do, I think, very well. I don't actually know how this works. Okay. Yeah, my research on this is 0. But the one thing that was horrific about this, honestly horrific, is this trigger is complete ass. It's the worst feeling thing I've ever felt. It's horrible. But they do offer an upgrade kit. So we're going to put that in the marker today, and I'll shoot it a little bit. I'm going to replace the feed neck, replace that, and give it an honest opinion on the upgrades that honestly probably should be just the stock, and it should be a $300 gun. So I have the box. Love the box. Just cardboard box. Comes with a condom, cool. Lanyard, cool. I have an O-ring kit. And I have the updated trigger set up. I mean, this might be a situation where we 3D print a new frame entirely if this doesn't work, just to make something that has a hinge. I don't love sliders particularly anyway, but especially not this one. But I've never been inside this. I don't know how to open this up. This should not be considered a informational video on something like that. That is very tight. I hope the plastic's just tight. So the frame's made of plastic. That's aluminum. Yeah, that's aluminum. The body's aluminum. Frame's plastic. On-off is aluminum. See, it's molded. The seam line isn't awesome. That could probably be ground down. I might actually cut that down with some sandpaper just to get that out of my way, because that's sort of annoying. But it's a cheap marker. So, see, they... So you can see that there's a little bit of mold issues, grinding that smooth on the stippled front. But I think it's reasonable. It's a $300 marker, made in the USA. I assume this is not cross-threaded from the factory. I assume this is just the plastic being very tight. I'm not sure what that was about. Okay, does that just come out, or don't know how that works? Let me pull the grips off. I like the Hoagies. They are actually very nice. I have a buddy I play with that loves to grip tape everything. He would not enjoy these because these are kind of slick feeling, but I do like them. I think they're very comfy. I don't mind a marker that's a little slick feeling. For some reason, I can keep my hands on it. And they have like the right amount of meat, in my opinion, where like it feels like substantial to hold. All right. So, got to turn that piece off. Hold on a second. Get this annoying little... Sorry about that. All right. How does that... Okay, just pops off there. Oh, yeah. That's awesome. So this whole thing just lifts out. Easy. You have the push safe. You can see the saw cut marks on that, but that's fine. This is not a high-end marker. This is a cheaper build. And I really like what... kind of how they achieved that. All right, so does that come up? Or that, I guess that goes down. I don't know what that little piece is, but all right. So frame's off. That is the stock trigger plate. This is the anodized one. Yeah, it's like wearing on the bottom a little bit. That's interesting. And here are some other parts that must be internal. It's kind of weird. It's like a toggle valve. So like all this trigger plate's doing is it's like when you push it back, it's toggling like a toggle valve to, I guess, break. I don't know. We'll see how this thing works. I see one here, one here. Are they this size? I assume all this stuff is in the valve train. I wonder what this one up here is for. I don't know. Okay. Comes out. Got a spring. No soft tip on this, because it's an old mech, basically. No, it's new. Okay. That's a big old O-ring there, but I get it, because it's on a round. So there's a step in the breech. Oh, maybe the inner breech comes out. Okay. Got a little one here. 2 small ones there, and 2 screws here. I think there is this information online. I'm just kind of going for it. Okay. Okay. Does that just pull out then? No, not exactly. That's a brass piece. It's got a little springiness to it. Okay. It's like a bumper. That's like the plunger mechanism that pulls back. I guess it pulls back when it fires, obviously. This thing's going to be sitting... One seal. So one seal's there. Obviously, this is the pressure chamber that has the air in it. The bolt is forward to start. A bolt has an internal O-ring. So the bolt's forward because it's a closed bolt marker. And then is there an O-ring in the body? Oh, that's neat. Okay, so the breech comes out. Let me take this body apart so I can see what's actually going on here. I don't know if I can take this off first. We're getting rid of this anyway. Get rid of that heinous thing. So it's 2 Allen keys so far, which is, you know, very great, ideal. You have this thing mostly disassembled. Okay. So does that unthread? Let me put this in the... I don't want to squeeze it too hard without something in there, else I'm going to crush this. Yeah, this neck has to come out somehow. It doesn't pull out, obviously. It's got to be a threaded on neck, I think. But then the whole receiver comes out of this, just aluminum tube, which is pretty awesome. That it's like an ion kind of setup. Let me see what I can do. Didn't love that. But basically I put the old valve in there just so it wouldn't crush and become unconcentric. Alright, so that's the machine bit. I like the Tipman style detent. I do like these a lot for a detent. I think they're very reliable, very easy to get. I think that's a very smart play. Let's use that detent. And so the front of the bolt would be in there. That's it all the way forward and locked. And then it's gonna pull back like that. This back section has that brass pin in it like that. So the air comes up into this hole here. That hole there fills, so this thing's gonna be sitting here when it's not being shot, and that air is going to go there, vent through here, fill this chamber. Is that chamber being filled going to push? So that chamber being filled actually pushes the bolt forward too, because there is nothing sealing the bolt from that chamber. So the bolt will be pushed forward because the air is in this chamber and there's only one O-ring, and then there's one more O-ring in here to seal the bolt. So that pushes the bolt forward, ready to fire. Then obviously this toggle valve, however this works, probably dumps air that's back here. I'm not sure how that works yet. Okay, so this hole probably connects to this hole. Maybe. Let's see. Not sure how that works yet, though. But I get the firing mechanism, how the bolt works. Obviously, this is going to vent. That's going to pull back. When that pulls back, it's going to both release. That's going to pull back. It's going to both seal off this dump chamber. As you fire, this is going to be from this position, like this. That's the firing position. You have this O-ring here sitting between here and here. This is obviously going to pull back to a position like this, where now the air coming in is now sealed from the chamber. So the chamber vents because you release that, and that's going to make the bolt come back because you have the spring up here pushing the bolt backwards to recharge. And then obviously when you let go of the trigger, this comes back forward. Dump chamber starts getting air again. This can push back forward and set up for the second cycle. So I don't know. Clearly the air path comes up through here and then comes through this with this dingleberry thing going on. I don't know what that's about yet, but that has a home in there. Let's open this piece, see what's going on. And then I want to pop the regulator open too and just really break this thing before I get a chance to use it, you know? So, third Allen key, not bad. So I lost those two. Ooh, there's a little thingy in there. Is that a pin? That's like a through pin probably. And then that pops out. Look at that. So that's specific. We have a flat spot on that. I'm going to assume that flat spot is forward. And so when you push the trigger back, this push pivots like this. This toggle valve pivots like this, and then it hits this little brass guy. That's going to push that little brass guy forward like that, and that pushes this forward into this piece, which must mean this has some kind of like needle valve effect in it. Maybe that's a vent. There's another. That's probably a through Allen for air. A through hole cut. Let me try to. Okay, see a hole there. I can't show you guys that hole in the bore. But there is a through hole in the bore. Is anything else in that brass piece? I don't know how that brass piece comes out. I don't know how serviceable that needs to be. But that's a little pseudo-concerning. There's another set screw here, but I think that's just to block an air passage drill, because there's a hole drilled up on this side to get into this chamber. So to me, I think this is just a plug. I don't want to damage it, but there's got to be some kind of ring in there. I might have to get that brass piece out. It looks like that's this piece. Looks like it could be this. And it looks like looks like that goes there and comes through here now. Instead of this guy, which this isn't that smooth of a setup. They could have chamfered this a little better to work. Does not come with instructions with the kit, but I think they do have an online thing. Here is the new pin guy. 2 flats. And 2 new screws. Oh, okay, for the trigger plate. Alright. So that means this is a solid piece. This is a solid machine piece. Actually kind of a pain to make that, because they have to do all this with this vent. And they do the vent hole and the vent piece there. So I bet if I polish that, it's going to be even nicer feeling. That's the stock. Here's the new. Okay. Nothing sealing there, no O-rings, anything like that. Just goes in. Rotates on this. So most of this back piece is just there. It's just solid mass. It doesn't actually do anything. It just holds this little pivot guy. Okay. I put that in backwards. It was a good move making this double-sided with 2 set screws, because then you can push that out. For people like me that do these things backwards. Okay. Okay. Guess I could be a little tighter, but I mean, it's not bad. That's round. That's confusing now. Hold on. Did I mess up? You clearly want the flat side up top. So, and they're 2 different sizes too. Let's look back to the original. Okay, so the fat side, there's a fat side and a skinny side. The fat side goes like this, so I was right the first time, strangely. Oh, that might just be back. Okay, I see what's happening. Sort of see what's happening. Alright, so that's just like back relief for this. So that's still pushing like that. I think that, whatever. I feel like that still could be better, but it's cheap. That's the point of it. It's cheap, has the hole through. But all you have to do is flick this little thing and get around the gas through and flick this little thing backwards. So, something to think about in the future. That now is a nice little chamfer on the front edge, the leading edge pushing into things. So that's going to feel a little better getting pushed out. This has to replace this guy. Has to. I don't know how to get that guy out of there, though. I'm going to remove this, but I know this is nothing. I'm not going to remove that because that's going to be an 050, so that's really... no, that's tight. That's locked in there. That's just a hole because they had to drill through to make the hole inside the breech to get into this piece. So somehow this has to come out. Oh, I can just pull it out, I think. It's not very fun to pull out. Something else came out with it. Okay. So I have this seat that came out, which makes sense. Oh, okay. So that goes in there. That presses on this seat. There wasn't a spring that came out, right? Nothing else coming out of there. That's machined with the... So I'm never going to be able to show you guys that on camera. But it's machined to look like the opposite of this, where the seat just gets pressed in there maybe. I don't know. Did I lose another piece that I'm missing somewhere on the bench? Because that went flying. And I think it's just this guy. Okay. My assumption is the seat goes in. I think it was just the seat. I guess there's no spring. Hope there's no spring. There's a seat. Hope there's no spring. So I guess what this does is it gets pushed in the hole. When you press on this seat, because when you press the trigger, this is going to push forward. I guess when you... I don't know. How far does this thing go? How much? So that's like that. So that just pushes forward. So that stays still. And that pushes forward. Is there a manual of this thing? I'm going to take a break real quick and just make sure I didn't lose a piece here, because it might just work this way, but I don't know. Alright guys, I'm back. Just watched a video on doing this. The seat, it just sits in there. This clearly upsets the seat somehow and gets the air to flow through. I'm assuming that's like the vent. Oh, maybe the seat sits against here. Okay, so that's kind of what's happening here. This seat's like a little three-way, sort of. This seat's sitting here, and the air is pushing the seat against this side, so it can't vent out any of the air. When you push this forward, it upsets the seat to let air flow out through here, which is going to start venting, I guess. Okay, it starts venting this area, this spot, like in here. It's going to vent that first quicker because there's a little hole back here. So it's going to vent behind this valve quicker, and that's going to make this fall backwards. And once that falls backwards, you dump all the rest of your air out. So that's how that works. This vents, that seat gets upset, vents the chamber back behind this piston, and this is going to come backwards because of the pressure acting in here, because this is a bigger diameter than this side. So when you lose the air pressure here, this offsets it and pushes it this way. So that's what that is doing. And I guess there is, I mean, it's definitely smoother with the smaller one. And clearly, you know, it's it works, I guess. It has to work. Like, it did shoot, so it works. Whatever they're doing does work. So I just put that in there flat as I can. I'm going to lube that up before I put that in. And that goes in with that little spike thing going backwards, because that's the way it was on there. So that's why I'm saying that. This piece is already in that side, so that goes in like that. That O-ring seems okay. Let me check these out. $70 durometer. This fat boy's also $70 durometer. And so is this one. I definitely don't have that, but I'm going to replace these with U-cups and see how that goes. So I think the rear is an 013 and the front's an 012, I think. I sure had played with this before I did this because I don't know what it feels like. To see if I've actually done anything better or worse. But theoretically, they're better at dynamic movement. So let's just let them do their thing. It's unhappy. So that ring. Maybe the front's an 011. I'll try an 011 on this one. Oh wait, is it that thing? Let's double check. Yeah, it was that front one. That front one might be an 011. Let me try that. Okay, so I replaced that with an 011. As I throw that thing, sorry. Yep, and that goes in nice now. Okay, so that's in place. That big guy's good. So that goes like that. Let's just get a little lube on this one. Another chonky boy. Probably a little better at oil than lube, but lube that up. It goes like that. Do these two. This has an internal O-ring. That looks like an 015. Let me replace that with a U-cup as well. Actually, I think it's an 016. It's lucky that I do have. Very easy one to get in there. Perfect. Nice. So that works. That goes back on like that. This also has an O-ring for the front of that. That's a big boy. I don't know if I have a U-cup for that. Let me double check. Might be a 115. Maybe. Feels good. Okay. So I mean this side, this definitely seals. This side, I don't think it really does anything. It's just there to help center this thing in the bore and just make it slip in easier. But yeah, this back one does seal. I'll put some lube on this one too, just because. And let's get the ball detent back in. I don't want a bunch of lube on that. Let's see. Barrels that way, front towards enemy. Get that in. That goes there. And then there's one more down here. Wrong one. Oh wait, that back one I think is the trigger frame. It's probably this one. Yeah, that back one's the trigger frame. And then we put that back in. I have this all loose right now. Just I want that to look centered. Actually, can I get to that one? No. So you gotta try to, let me put the feed neck on. The aluminum feed neck. The upgrade price is reasonable. If I remember correctly, they come with a non-on-off too, which, you know, that's also something that I don't even think should exist at this point. I guess for fields maybe, but like screw that. Like, really need a screwdriver. I'm too lazy. Good grip setup. I need a screwdriver. Let's go sideways, like that. Get that in there like that. Generic style feed neck, but I love it. It's the way to do them, honestly. Super low profile. Put that down. I don't know if it's the same as like the Simon necks and stuff, but that would be nice. Or like the Eclipse necks. Real pain there. All right. So I want to position that so it's straight. I don't drive myself crazy. That. That's like one thing. If you're not positive you're straight, you got to make sure you're straight looking, because you could skew it a touch because there's some play in all this stuff here. So if you're not sure, those two down, that's back in. This big boy can go back in. That also has a couple of these little guys. I mean, all in all, not bad to work on. I mean, obviously it's not like a toolless setup, but this ain't that bad. I think I'm a little skewed. It's a little old school feeling. Definitely a little, you know, being able to rock the body around kind of deal to get where you want it. But I'm going to leave this one loose until I put the frame on too. I got to take this trigger off here. Oh no. Fourth size. Four Allen keys now. All right, it's not bad. Thought those were replacements for these, but that's interesting. The hell are those for? This is an absolutely unique way to do a trigger. I don't hate it. I kind of like it. It's interesting. If it was a double trigger, it'd be cooler, because then you could just make ones of these and just put them on. But the single trigger, you're really only going to use that. That's the only style you're going to have, truthfully. But, all right, let's, I want to see what the regulator is about. That was cool. Super simple inside. I am pretty happy with how this thing's looking. Trigger mod's done. Let's see what this reg's about. Threads are... This makes sense. These are semi-captured nuts, so watch out when you take these out that you don't drop the nuts out. Or if you drop nuts out, make sure you're on a table. If you're doing this on like your lap outside, this would be one of those critical parts. I don't know, I kind of want to 3D print a frame. What do you guys think? Make my own frame with like a double trigger or a trigger and a half. You could probably toss on a hinge too if you make some kind of mechanism that pushes backwards in it. Getting ideas. This marker's giving me a lot of ideas, which is kind of cool, because there's not a lot of new markers out there that give me ideas to how to, like, upgrade might not be the word, but like personalize it. Okay. Slips out real easy. That tube guy comes out. What's going on with that tube guy? He's fine. Just a tube and a tube. That tube. I guess that's a dual purpose O-ring in there. That's cool. That's a good O-ring. I like that big fat O-ring in there. It's like a dual purpose. Let's see. Does this I know this came undone. Little hand screw. Guess you can get a little tool in there and crack that open if you have to. Okay, and that threads out. That's the reg set. I mean, the machining is top notch on this particular stuff. Like this stuff, this looks really good for this style marker. This looks really good machine wise. Oh, they use like a, so you see the side holes in this one? I don't know if you can see that. They have the side holes, and then it goes out through the top. So there's no real seat. The seat's an O-ring. There's a double set of O-rings then in there. Or no, maybe there is still a seat. I'm confused now. Hold on. How's this work? Whoa. That had to be up here. What was that doing? So you got a seat. Okay, so this is a piece of rubber in here. So this is very completely traditional inline regulator setup. Completely traditional. It's a little tiny, so it's not super quick. If you made that fatter, which obviously there's a packaging component with this. It's not like WDP who just made it tiny because fuck you. There's actually a packaging component why this is tiny, but definitely it's not going to be a super fast recharge, but it's a mech, so you're not shooting that fast either with it. What was that? What is this spring for? Oh, is that? Oh, I do like that. Oh, that's fucking easy. I like that. That's nice. So, this O-ring is the base O-ring this slides on. And in there, it's just the O-ring that sits right in there to seal the high pressure chamber from the low pressure chamber. Then this is your traditional just seat where once you have enough pressure, it pushes down and locks off the air coming in to it. And then when you lose pressure, this opens back up and lets the air rush through again, which is cool. I like that. I like that it's pressing from the inner seat. That's smart. I like this whole setup here. I mean, again, it's a little slow, but this air is not the hindrance. The size of the piston's the hindrance on its speed. But they just use a spring and hold that instead of having this in its own raceway, which is not ideal for super fast rates of fire, but like for maintenance, that's beautiful. All right, these I'm going to leave alone. These are 70 durometer. This fat boy, I'm going to try to replace this with a U-cup if I have one. I might not have one this size, and I'm definitely replacing this with a U-cup on this side of it. So let me get some U-cups. Yeah, that's a fat boy too. Let me see if I have U-cups. I might not have anything for these. Unfortunately, I don't have anything for these because that would speed up this reg a little bit and just make it a little cooler. But I'll just put these back on. I think this is like a 110, the fat one, or the big one, and this is probably like a 108 or so. I don't have any U-cups for them. I'm just going to put my lube on them and slap this boy back together. Ground spring. I mean, the spring's set up right. This is set up right. This thing is set up not to give you problems, which is nice. Get some lube on you. And I'm getting excited because, like, I think there's like an upgrade path on this marker, which is super cool to see. Just cause it's cool to do some things yourself. I think, at least. So I like this marker. So far, I like it. Let's put you back in. Yep, make sure you're in. Put you in. Okay, so that just vents, so they don't they don't have an O-ring there because that's all vented. Lube these threads are very nice. Like this is very nice machining for a budget marker. Like, could be a little better finish inside there, in my opinion. That is a rubbing surface, but that's probably why they're using the fatter O-ring. But for a budget marker, this is quite nice. I don't know where that's threaded. Maybe that's threaded for them. There's like threads here. Maybe that's for some kind of processing, or maybe they have another. I don't know. Where the hell did that O-ring come from? That doesn't go there. This goes up through first. Yeah. Stab this boy in there. I may do them all together. That feels a little loose. that goes in like that. Oh, I should put it in here. So I could take this on off part apart, but this is pretty standard looking. There's just a cam in there. You take that little brass piece out. It's a little cam action setup. It just works. It's nice. Works. Make sure I'm lubed. Lube my threads a little bit. Threads are nice. Like, these are nice threads. Put that in. Not crazy about this. Not crazy about this weird tube. I don't know what's going on with this thing. I don't know, there's this rubber piece. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but dear God. Okay, make sure you got that in the right spot. That's easy peasy. Adjusting this out is, I don't, oh, okay. Is that threaded? Is this a 20 lock? No, it's just a hole. So, like, if you're an asshole in a tournament setup, or, you know, if you're an asshole, you could degas this, crack this open a turn or two, and gas this back up, and you're going to be jacking your velocity by hand. I mean, this could eventually fucking fall out if you do some dickhead stuff like that, but there is no 20 lock on that. There's no hole drill with a set screw to, like, pin you down like old school stuff. So just something to look at and be aware of. This goes in. Do I lube this? Well, that definitely feels better. Huh. I give it a little lube anyway, right? It'll work great till it gets a lot of dirt on it, and I got fucking stuck in there. Okay. So that's going. Let me put these 4 back on first. These are all the same size, right? Yeah. I mean, a double would be nicer than 4 little screws, but, like, these are better than those dick-ass screws that Bob Long puts on the LPRs of, like, the Victories and Marks and shit. Those screws are fucking gross. So, like, this ain't that bad. This is the plastic fighting me to go down, which is fine. Good to be tight than loose, I guess. Like, these are all stainless steel bolts. That's an add. Like, I like that. I haven't seen any bolt here that's not stainless, which is cool. Everything looks stainless or brass. That's not aluminum or aluminum. So, like, that all seems really nice. I guess for a marker this, you know, at this cost range, those aren't things to overlook, in my opinion. Because you're like in almost like Azadyne range. The EMAC, whatever it is, that's probably, you can't, it's hard to say anything bad about the EMAC. That thing is just kind of king shit at just keep going. But if you're like an older school guy like me that wants like something that's cool and like kind of clicky in a way, I guess, but like just kind of unique and cool and not what's going to be on the field, I really like this thing so far. This little guy's really cool. Okay, I left the screw loose to make sure that I can make sure that goes in its slot and that goes in its hole. Okay. Uh-oh. Oh, that's 4. Hold on. I have a blooper going on here. I don't know what the hell this is for. Oh, that was the, that's for the plastic feed neck. All right. I don't know what that one's for. My God. Let's mate this guy up. That doesn't want to go. Okay, you just gotta make sure that thing's kind of forward. The little flapper valve guy. Use same size, yep. Take that hole right there in the front. The plastic closed up a little bit on it, but that's okay. Those. Make sure that thing looks good. Looks square. All right. Let's see. Do I have air left in you? It's my high pressure tank. I don't know if you can have a high pressure tank. I don't see why you can't. Still got that little hiss. I don't know where it's coming from. Oh. Might have went away. That feels so much nicer. All right. Let's get some paint in this thing and we'll fire some shots off. I feel so much nicer. Holy shit, that's night and day. All right, guys, I'll see you outside. All right, guys, so Apex a little hard to do. 294, 273, 296, 266, 269, 271, 260, 270, 290. A little all over the place. That's a little disheartening, but feels good. Oh, that feels great. Not easy to short stroke it. There you go. I was shooting 5-star through that. The 5-star that A&S gave me. Stuff shot phenomenal, which is amazing because I just shot it through an Apex.
but that feels great. That trigger, worlds better. I couldn't even tell you how shitty it was originally. But that's the N4. I'm really happy with this little guy. Can't wait to play with it. All right, guys, Andrew at FloryPB. That's it for this.